Before we start, I just want to say this is a quick spoiler warning for the movie Thunderbolts. And I know that a lot of my points I'm about to say have been in other videos, but this is my own take on it. Now let's get into the video.
A couple months ago, a Marvel project came out that was what an MCU movie could be if it had creativity and passion behind it. This movie was I went into this project excited to see the grounded action and excitement that this franchise has long since left behind. Going into this movie, I knew the characters from previous projects but didn't really care about them. Nobody did. Until it was released. This film, this masterpiece, is a shining example of the glory days of Marvel and what happens if a creative vision is seen through all the way. What happens if characters are written not as comedic punching bags, but as real people who have real problems. No rewrites, no last-minute reshoots, just good storytelling and dedicated teams behind it. This movie is one of the best, if not the best, MCU movie of all time, and I will defend this forever. None of this is possible without the director Jake Schreier and the actors behind this film. His vision of using practical sets not only complements his movie themes, but augments it. Every shot and action deliberately made is there to show us these characters' pain and suffering. Every time someone busts through a wall, you feel it because it's real. Every time a character is beat down, thrown, shot, you feel it because it is real. That's why at the end in the shame rooms, escaping it feels real because it was. They were busting through walls, mirrors, and grates for real. The themes are thrust into the light using these sets and actors to show us what their characters are really feeling in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, but immerses you. This movie has so much to say, and it conveys it in a way that not only shapes the characters, but it also shapes you, the audience member. And that's the most important thing a movie can do. This movie opens with Yelena, lonely and broken. She has nothing except for the missions given to her. Her life has no purpose after her sister's death, and she's just drifting. Like many of us, we can relate to her pain. She visits her father Alexei and tells him this, but Alexei's in the same place. He has no purpose, no fulfillment from life. He's dreaming about the past and what could be, resenting his current life. In fact, every part of the team feels this way. Like they don't belong, resenting their current situations in life, and wishing they had more. That's why they all were convinced to go to the vault, because Valentina offered them a way out of that resentment. That's why they're all so perfect for this movie. Each of them lost family or their lives to outside forces that controlled them for so long that they lost the meaning of family and purpose. They are the opposite of the Avengers, the other side of the coin. Both teams may have formed out of necessity to save the world, but only one stays together. At the end of the Avengers, the group splits up because they have their own families, their own lives, but the Thunderbolts have nothing, no one. Until now. At the end of the film, they finally have something to call home, people to support and be supported back by, and the one thing we all truly want. Sense of belonging. That's why I like the new Avengers over the previous team. They're more connected. They all have trauma. Bucky is the Winter Soldier, John Walker with losing his family and the title of Captain America after the actions he took, Ghost being an experiment for the government, Alexei trying to live his glory days and trying to be a father, and Yelena with losing the person who she cared about the most, her sister. Yelena is by far the focus of this movie. In a way, she is the audience surrogate. We understand her pain. That's why at the end, when they become a true team, it makes us, the audience, feel like we belong there too. It makes us feel, which Marvel hasn't been able to do in a very, very long time. But Yelena is just one side of the coin. When Bob is introduced, much like the other characters, he has nothing, has no one. He was abused by his father and rejected by his mother. His desire for a purpose leads him astray on his path. And unlike Yelena, is willing to sacrifice anything and everything for that sense of belonging. Valentina recognizes this, and much like the others, uses this as a way to control him. Bob wants a family, even if he doesn't want to admit it to himself. That's why when he agrees to be the Sentry, he's afraid that he'll be left alone again. And when he realizes that Valentina is controlling him, he breaks free of her control and starts to become unhinged because the family he thought he had betrayed him. That's why when he is shocked, he becomes a void and fully lets loose because he was betrayed and now
just a void.
The void is a literal embodiment of the emotions that we all feel at the bottom of our stomachs that we get on a bad day. He is depression, fear, anxiety, unfulfillment, and the worst feeling of all, loneliness. That's why when you're sent to the shame rooms, you're alone, living your worst memories, your lowest points. That's why to escape the shame rooms, you have to go through mirrors. You have to look at yourself and face what you see, no matter what's staring back at you. That's why to defeat the void, they can't punch him or shoot him or kill him because he can't punch. or shoot or kill those feelings. All you can do is surround yourself with people who care about you. That's why when Bob is beating his dark personality, he doesn't win by punching down his worst thoughts and emotions, but by the team he escaped death with and risked his life to save comes and hugs him, showing him he's not alone and he has people who care for him. And at the end of the film, that's why Yelena grabs Bob's arm and takes him with the other Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts are not the perfect team, but they have each other. They have people who they can rely on and relate to because of their experiences and traumas. They're made the new Avengers, which only solidifies their bond as a family. We see these people who have nothing become each other's something. That's truly special. That's why these characters are all so compelling. That's why this cinematic experience made Yelena one of my favorite characters in the MCU, because I can relate to her and her trauma. We all can, in one way or another. This movie mirrors the first Avengers movie in a lot of ways. If the original Avengers were the light, the new Avengers are the dark. They replicate moves from their earlier counterparts such as Red Guardian as Cap and Yelena as Black Widow, and show the heroes actually saving people, which nowadays is just not shown enough. The MCU threats have to get bigger and bigger now because they keep upping the stakes, and it's got so bad that they forgot about the one thing that heroes actually do. Save people. Normal people like you and me on the streets. And that's another reason that we should care about these characters. They're saving people even after all the terrible things that happened to them. They're saving people after all the terrible things they did to other people. And that's just good character work. They're showing that they care and that they can repent and they can do better, and they're proving it to themselves and others. And this is all possible because of the great actors playing them. The prime example of this is Florence Pugh. She's able to mold Yelena so well and make us care. Lewis Pullman also excels at this. He's able to show us all sides of Bob and doesn't show away from what made the character who he is. He shows us the sentry, the void, the innocent kid who's afraid. Everyone in this movie conveys their characters that makes us care about them. They are not afraid to show stuff that many people are uncomfortable with. They're not afraid to not only mention, but put themes such as depression, suicide, and loneliness at the forefront of a Marvel movie. This film is unique for a Marvel movie because it tells people it's okay to have these emotions, these feelings, these thoughts. It tells us that there are people who care about you and your struggles. It tells us that we are not alone. Marvel showed us this. They let the director and the cast do their job and portray these stories in a way that makes people care. And that's something Marvel needs to notice from this film. The fact that people care. People are excited to watch where these characters go. And I know when I go see Doomsday and Secret Wars, I am looking forward the most to see where Yelena, Bucky, Bob, and where the rest have ended up. And I'm excited to see more. Sure, I'm also excited to see the other characters, but these characters' journeys are the ones I'm invested in. They are the ones I will be sitting there waiting to see, and I'm ready to see where their story goes, and I hope they get the recognition they deserve. And I hope that they serve the best role they can in this upcoming Avengers movie. When I was first writing the script, it was very whimsical and joke-heavy. But since Thunderbolts came out on the digital a few months ago and I've rewatched it a lot, I realized that my video was just barely scratching the surface of what this movie had to say. So I rewrote it, turning it into a video that made me think and hopefully made you think as well. That's something else this movie does. It makes you think deeper, and the more I watched it, the more I understood and the more I resonated with these characters' plights and struggles. Because I have similar plights and struggles, and so do you. We all suffer from depression. We all suffer from loneliness. I love that I can watch this film and reflect deeper on myself and look at my problems. I love that I can find new solutions to help myself and help others. This movie made me realize now more than ever that we can't be alone and that we don't want to be alone and that we're all just looking for a place to call home. It shows us that even if you are in the deepest, darkest hole, that there's always someone there to help you. And there always will be, even if you don't think so. If you haven't seen it already, go watch this movie. It's one of the best movies in this franchise currently and probably my favorite. This film, for the first time in a long time in the MCU, has something to say and nailed the mark on its message that it was trying to tell us. The message that we are not alone. And we never will be, no matter what we think. I know this video is different from my other ones, but it had to be because Thunderbolts is just a different kind of movie. But in the end, none of us are truly by ourselves. And that is the most important thing of all.
What I said to you before was wrong, Bob. You can't stuff it down. You can't hold it in all alone. No one can. We have to let it out. We have to spend time together. And even if it doesn't make the emptiness go away, I promise you it will feel lighter.
How do you know?
Because it already has for me. We can find a way out of here together. Will you try and leave here with me?